Best of r/entitled parents episode 156. Subscribe for edit videos daily. I witnessed my second wild Karen encounter today. In Hong Kong right now, the virus isn't that bad so we can still go out, but wearing a mask is strongly encouraged. Some places require it. So today my friends and I decided to go eat ramen at a restaurant in the city. Just me, my friend and another friend. Restaurants close down seats for social distancing, so there are less seats available. Now this ramen restaurant is not very big, so there are only a few seats available. So here's the cast. EM, entitled Mother OP, me F, friend W, waiter M, manager. So we are just minding our own business when this group of 6 walks into the restaurant. There are only a few seats available, so W informs them that they have to wait for the tables to clear up before they can be seated because seats are closed for social distancing. EM, what do you mean I have to wait? W, because of COVID-19, we closed seats for social distancing. EM, oh, okay, why don't you seat us there? She says, pointing to a table with a sign clearly stating closed for social distancing. W, as I said, they are closed. B, EM, oh it's fine. Just seat us there. We don't have the virus. W, I'm sorry, I can't do that. That's, EM, I'm sorry, I'm not asking you to seat us there, I'm telling you to. So please do so now. W, if you wait 20, EM, come on. My ankles are starving. She says this as she points to her family consisted of toddlers whining about having to eat ramen. W, we can seat some of you over at the bar if you guys don't need to eat as a group. Without even thanking him, she marches her family over to the bar and rips off the signs to make space for her kids. W, I'm sorry, I can't have you do that. EM, I can do whatever I want. I am the customer. W, I'm sorry, but if you can't respect our rules you must leave. EM, lem talk to you manager. The waiter scoffs and goes to get the manager, who is one of the chefs. M, what seems to be the problem? EM, your rude waiter refused to let me sit at a table, so I had to sit here. M, I'm sorry, but you can't sit here. There are signs stating that these seats your kids are sitting on are closed for social distancing. EM, I don't care. I want to eat with my family. They are starving. M, I understand, but if you can't respect these rules, I am gonna have to call the police. EM, no, I am a loyal customer and have been for a month and I deserve better service. M, if you wait, we can seat you over there. He gestures to our table. EM, okay, how long is the wait? M, 20 minuets. EM gasps, then walks over to us. EM, you guys gotta go. OP, what? EM, you heard me, leave. You and your friends need to leave because you guys have been here too long. OP, we're not done yet. EM, don't talk back to your elders. M, if you don't leave now, I'm gonna call the police for harassing my customers. Realizing now that she can get in really big trouble, she and her entitled family leave. I ended up getting the meal on the house, but still, some people can still be entitled during an epidemic. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Edit 1. I thought I should add, due to social distancing and HK, public gathering of more than 4 people are banned, so this Karen would not even be allowed to sit here with her big family. Also thanks for all these updates. Edit 2. Since many have asked, I think the Karen was mainland Chinese that speaks Cantonese. I can tell by her accent. The dad was an expat, so I don't know. The dad had no idea what they were saying and just nodded. Edit 3. This entire convo was translated into English, so I did my best, but it's not perfect. Sometimes I had a hard time understanding her because of her heavy mainland Chinese accent. Edit 4. Yes, the ramen was amazing. Edit 5. She wasn't wearing a mask, which is not illegal but highly recommended. Edit 6. Surprised to see so many fellow HKers. Thank you. Next. Another story to my GF father. So my GF had a doctor's appointment that week, my grandma and I took her to, and it fell on her birthday. So as we get there, we found out we went to the wrong doctor's office. So we had to turn around and go 20 minutes through traffic. We get there and soon we left the office. I surprised her by getting her Burger King, her favorite fast food. We get back to her house, about 5-6 late. When we go into her house and I help her with my daughter, We were instantly being bombarded and screamed at by entitled father. Why the FCK are you 5 minutes late? I try to explain to him why we were late, due to traffic and other means. Entitled father, still screaming, says I don't want to hear your excuses boy, why are you late? My girlfriend is very upset about her being yelled at, starts crying and goes to her room. My grandma tried to explain that it was beyond our control to why we are late. He straight up tells her that she is lying and tells GF that I can't be there for her birthday, and she starts to cry more and plead to him that he needs to stop. Frustrated, I storm out of the house and go sit in the car. About 5 minutes later she calls me and said that I can stay. We sit at a table, and they bring out a cake, sing happy birthday, and start serving cake. GF still very upset and still crying, politely declined the cake and got up and left the room for the rest of the night. Her stepmom leaves the room upset and EF follows after her. 20 minutes later EF comes out, tell me he is taking me home, and we leave. On the way home he asked me why GF wasn't happy about the cake, and that it makes stepmom very upset and that she went out of her way to get it. That she was crying about it. I sit there very baffled about what I heard, look at him and just say, do you understand that you screamed at her on her birthday, her day, the day she should be respected? Of course she is going to cry and not want cake. He starts to but she made her cry. But I cut him off and say you ruined her daughter's birthday, and you made her cry, which made stepmom cry, so it's your fault. I put on my headphones on and play music for the remainder of the car drive. 1 month later he kicked her out. If you'll want more, there's more. Thank you. Next. I used to work as a custodian at a zoo, and as you can imagine, the zoo is like a beating grounds for entitled parents. We have this one restaurant in the zoo where the washrooms are out back. They're not directly in the restaurant, but since they're still part of the building they're hooked up to the same fire alarms as the restaurant. On one particularly busy day the fire alarm started going off. As I was evacuating people, one lady pushed her way against the herd and into the washroom. I recognized her as someone who had been waiting near the end of the washroom line before the fire alarm went off. I kindly explained that the fire alarm was going off and everybody had to be evacuated from the building. She ignored me and proceeded to plop her baby down on the changing table. Very casually, as though she didn't have a care in the world, she slowly took off the baby's clothes and diaper while trying to sing over top of the blaring alarm. She continued to blatantly ignore everything I said to her, so during this time I called in for backup. It was at that point when her baby started wailing from the loud noises. As soon as the baby started crying the lady immediately whipped around and demanded that I turn that alarm off. Can't you see it's distressing my daughter? To which I told her hell no in the politest way possible. Leaving her daughter crying on the table with a full open diaper, she tried to get into an argument with me about how it's ridiculous. The alarm shouldn't be this loud, and why is there a fire alarm in a bathroom anyway, and my personal favorite, you shouldn't have loud alarms in places with a lot of babies and little children. It can damage their hearing. Eventually security arrived and removed her from the washroom. Since she spent more time arguing with me over the alarm than tending to her daughter, she ended up having to strap the dirty diaper back up and carry her daughter out. While she was putting the diaper back on the baby, she innocently told security that she couldn't change her daughter and get out fast enough because I was bothering her, and that her daughter is probably going to get a diaper rash because of me. I hope she's disabled her fire alarms at home. Don't want to damage her precious daughter's hearing. TDLR. Mother was trying to change a diaper during a fire alarm and got mad because the alarm made her baby cry. Thank you. Next. Hey everyone. I posted a story about my entitled aunt, my dad's sister, a few days ago. https://www.reddit.com/r/entitledparents/comments/g2j2ive/entitled aunt thinks her son-in-law deserves all/. Here's another story. My aunt's younger daughter, who is about a year older than me and has been close to me since childhood, was getting married and we were planning for her bachelorette party. I had already observed the way my aunt had turned my cousin into an entitled kid, and it was showing more and more as the wedding came nearer. One of my cousin's friends made a group where she added people for bachelorette. Now bachelorettes are not a part of our country/culture, so this was our first. We were basically looking for a fun night, or so I thought. Because of my cousin's entitled behavior, She had few friends left in her life. Hence, barely 7-8 people were added in the group including family. A few days into the discussion, I observed that my cousin was not added to the group. I asked her friend that we should probably add her so she can know about the expenses, to which the friend replied that my cousin won't be paying at all for the party. Other people will be dividing the amount. I was shocked. I then proceeded to check the rules of bachelorette parties online, and sure enough the bride is supposed to pay for the venue and everything, and the bridesmaids are supposed to bring gifts and all the kinky stuff. Here we are talking about booking an expensive hotel on the outskirts of the city, a customized cake, decorations and other stuff. Plus we'll have to pay for Uber as it is a good 1-hour drive from where I live. The two friends that were willing to pay for all that came from rich backgrounds, whereas I was working a sort of minimum wage job and my sister was in college, so she would have had to borrow money from our dad. Now the bride's sister, my elder cousin, had recently given birth to a baby boy and she would not have been able to attend the party. I then suggested a solution that we should just have a fun night at any one of our apartments. We can spend the money on booze and kinky stuff instead, and also save a lot. Plus the bride's sister will also be able to attend it for some time. She can't drink but at least she'll be able to be a part of the celebration. The friends were in contact with my cousin over the progress and I thought she'll be happy at the suggestion, cause what's more important, more people at the party or an expensive party with no people? Meanwhile, my aunt had a conversation with my dad and he called me up and this is how the conversation goes. Dad, OP, are you and your sister supposed to pay for this? Bachelorettes are not our tradition, so he's confused af. Me, I'm technically no, but they are insisting. My dad then has a conversation with my mom. Dad, listen, I don't think we should be paying for this. She is just trying to match with her fiance, not realizing that we can't afford stuff like this. If she's paying herself then it's okay, otherwise just tell them you both are not attending this. I was ecstatic as I got the approval of my parents. I then realized why she was desperate for an expensive party. Her fiance was going to Europe with his friends for his bachelor's. What she doesn't understand is that he can afford it all. His parents are rich and he earns a lot too. Whereas most of us were just starting with our careers and our parents definitely didn't have extra money lying around for such parties. I was now determined not to waste any money. My sister then proceeded to tell everyone in the group that she had placements and exams coming up, so she won't be able to get away from that. I outright told them that I can't afford it, and I'm not asking my dad to pay for it either. Even then, she decided to have her expensive bachelorette with just 2 people. I mean, why? Anyways, she got her night the way she wanted. I kind of felt bad as I was really looking forward to it, but some things are not just in your hands. TLDR. Entitled cousin asks her bridesmaids to pay for the bachelorette and when everyone refused, had the bachelorette with 2 people. Thank you. Next. People mentioned. MEKEMND. Nice dad RP1. Random player 1 RP2. Random player 2F. Friend. This happened 2 weeks ago. Backstory. I gave my friend from school my Roblox group and Discord server around 2 months ago now. Recently, he asked me to look after the group and server and make sure nobody was bullying/exploiting. He had gone to the hospital because he had broken his arm when he fell onto a railing after falling off his bike. Ouch. And I decided to host a giveaway. These usually get hosted once or twice a month, and everyone was excited for the 3rd giveaway of the month. The winners would get 3 months of Builders Club, basically the Roblox equivalent of premium on an app, and 5k Robux, in-game currency. Now onto the story. Fast forward a day, I was playing Speedrun 4. Some of you might know it. It was a popular game a few years back, and in comes EK. The convo goes as follows. EK, hi, is this Felix Thunder? Yeah, you? EK, give me your giveaway Robux. Now no, it's for the giveaway and I'm not giving anybody it for free, except for the winner, of course. EK goes AFK for about a minute, then I hear a call coming on Discord from EK. I accept it because I don't want any trouble from her parents, who are bound to be entitled as well. First thing I hear, EK, give Emmy Robux. No, I already told you, it's for the win. She cuts me off. EK, look, my mum has bought me a lot of stuff over the weekend, including Robux. because I've been really good, and you're not getting me anything because I didn't win a effing giveaway. You're so poor I bet you're black. Proceeds to call me a very racist word targeted at black people. In absolute disbelief and confusion, what the H was that? First you say that you've been really good, and you want me to get you some Robux, when I've clearly told you that you'll have to enter the giveaway, and now you've gone and said something racist. BTW, I'm white, not black, and who knows what you're gonna do next? Blow up Earth? EK. Starts running away. Mummy. This bee is assaulting me. Help mummy. GD. Even I could hear that, and it sounded like she had gone to the top of her house. I hear footsteps. Here we go. How dare you abuse my daughter? She was acting in self-defense. UB. Give her the Roblox now or else I will call the police. What is your address? Tell me now. How easy was it to find a Karen? A what? How do you know my name? He's been stalking us. Call the cops. That's epic stuff. A Karen called Karen. EK. Mumbles inaudible stuff. My daughter has just told me that you own a group and Discord server. Actually no I don't. My friend told me to look after give them to my daughter now. She deserves it more than you. Also calls me racist name. It seems like racism runs in the family. 2 more people joined the call. RP1 and RP2. ND also joins in behind EK and ND. What's going on? I can hear screaming. RP1. Oh please don't tell me a Karen is in the call. Someone call the cops on this racist word again. ND. Karen. Don't call him the. EK. Dad you're stupid. You don't understand. He has been a again. And I deserve his giveaway Robux. RP2. I see what has happened. EK has demanded Felix for the giveaway Robux. Is trying to call the cops on Felix for no reason, except for being entitled as absolute F. And now here comes ND to save the day. I'm calling the cops on all of you. You are all, when will this end? And deserve to be locked up forever. ND. Karen, stop. I'm calling the cops on you because you are abusing these people for doing absolutely nothing. You know what? Join your fellow. This is just ridiculous now. In Africa, starving to death but I won't care. Die in H. EK. Yeah, FFS stop. Door slam. And after a long pause. ND. Hello? RP1, RP2 and M all at the same time. Hi, RP2, that Karen was absolutely mad. ND. I know right. All of us talked about what just happened. ND said he wanted a divorce now, because apparently EM had done this to a lot of others in the past, and has stolen from homeless people as well. I have to say, that is one of the worst things someone could ever do. Homeless people hardly have anything, so why would people do that? ND also pressed charges against EM because just days later she attempted to commit arson. Apparently she set fire to the bush in the front yard but was immediately caught by a neighbor who was a police officer. Maybe you shouldn't have done that. ND won the case because there were several witnesses and security footage. Karen, if you see this after your sentence, get effing owned. Anyway, thanks for reading. This was my first Reddit post. If you got this far then I will bless you with Karen repellent. Have a nice day fellow Redditors. Thank you. Next. Sorry this is so long. Warning. I'm an idiot and a human so there's definitely spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes so sorry about that. Okay, let me start this off by saying I am a 17-year-old female. My parents wouldn't let me have my own life until I turned 18. But this incident drove me to leave. So before I get into the story I'll say that I have a lot of stories from growing up with my dad, a narcissist who only thinks of himself and has no respect for anyone else. And my mom who I can say wasn't abused from what I know but she enables him. I also want to say that I still love my parents because they are my parents but let me just say I want someone to shoot me in the head if I ever start to turn into them. Okay sorry I was rambling. On to my most recent story. So I recently posted this story on r/amathisol, so you might recognize me from there. But anyway, let's set the stage. This was pre-lockdown. My area was still what was normal for us. So I've had this dog who I brightly named Tipsy as an 8-year-old. She was bought for me and I've always been her actual owner. I feed her, I walk her, I take her to the vet, and I give her so much love. She is a total sweetheart and wouldn't hurt a fly. So normally when I leave for more than a few hours I drop off Tipsy at my friend's house. She has a dog and the two love each other. So I was getting ready to leave for a week to go see my grandma who wasn't doing very well. I told my parents my plan and that's when my dad's face lights up. Here's what happened. Hey mom and dad, I'm leaving to go see grandma. I'll be leaving Tipsy at friend's house. That's when my dad's face lights up. He then speaks up, Ed, no, I'll leave her there when we can watch her. You know how much we love her. At this point I was very confused as my parents aren't exactly the type to spring at opportunity to help me out. But I don't think too much of it. I mean, they are my parents and they know how much I love her. So I'll let my friend know and Tipsy stays home with my parents. I left them a list to follow to make sure they fed her and walked her and didn't just neglect her. Thank you. Next. This is a story from a couple of months ago, and sadly instead of one entitled parent it involves many entitled parents. Every year my family volunteers at a big fall fair with rides, games, crafts, and a lot of locally grown food. This year some of the local farmers donated a bunch of pumpkins to the fair so they could create this beautiful pumpkin display. Less than an hour after the fair opened for the day and the pumpkin display is a mess. Many parents, the poor lost souls, had mistaken the pumpkin display for a playground. They stood to the side and chatted as though they were at the park while their children made a mess of the display, climbing the pumpkins, throwing the pumpkins, kicking the pumpkins, smashing the pumpkins. We quickly evacuated the families. This caused the children to complain, which resulted in their parents giving us stink eye for ruining their day. We tried to reassemble the display as much as we could, and put up a sign right in front of it that said to not touch the pumpkins. Not long later we returned to the display only to find that the sign has been uprooted and tossed to the side and the display was destroyed again. There were broken pumpkins everywhere. There were also families who decided to go pumpkin picking with their children and the display, happily choosing out their favorite pumpkins and carrying them off. We tried to stop the parents, told them the pumpkins were for taking home. Many of the parents would claim, but my son really likes this pumpkin and why would you put them outside if they weren't for us to take? We explained to the parents that there were many stalls at the fair where farmers were selling some pumpkins, but the reply is mostly people complaining about how they would have to pay for those pumpkins. There was even one lady who just looked at us and kept walking as we tried to stop her. Once again we cleared out the people and this time shut down the display. The display of roughly 30 pumpkins had been reduced to 6 that were still intact, all before noon.